The sun was just beginning to rise over the endless fields of wheat when Elias tightened the worn leather straps of his boots. His hands were calloused, his skin darkened from years beneath the burning sun, and his back carried the weight of both poverty and hope. He was a farmer's son, humble, unnoticed, ordinary. Yet deep inside, Elias carried a secret dream, to one day stand not in the dirt of the fields, but in the polished armor of the royal guard. It sounded impossible. The royal guard was reserved for the strongest, the most disciplined, the bravest men in the kingdom. They were legends, protectors of kings and queens, the last line between chaos and order. And Elias? He was just a boy who knew how to plow, sow, and harvest. But the dream refused to leave his heart. Life on the farm taught Elias three truths: loyalty to family, sacrifice for tomorrow, and the discipline to keep working when no one was watching. Every day, while his father instructed him in the rhythm of the land, Elias trained in secret. He would run across the fields until his lungs burned, lift sacks of grain as if they were weights, and swing a wooden stick like a sword against the wind. Villagers laughed. "You? A royal guard? You're just a farmer," they sneered. But Elias never argued back. He had already learned that greatness is not proven in words, but in habits. When he failed, when his arms shook from exhaustion or his body ached from strain, he whispered a single phrase to himself: "One day, I will be ready." Years later, news spread that the kingdom was opening trials for new recruits to the royal guard. For the first time in decades, ordinary men could attempt to earn a place among the elite. Elias knew this was his chance. The night before he left, his father placed a rough hand on his shoulder. "Son," he said, "we have always been farmers. But if your dream is to protect something greater than yourself, then go. Just remember, strength means nothing without honor." Elias carried those words with him as he journeyed to the capital. The trials were brutal. Hundreds of men from noble families, battle-hardened soldiers, and wealthy recruits arrived, each one stronger, taller, or richer than Elias. The first test was endurance, running across scorching fields in full armor. Elias stumbled, but he remembered the endless days of farm labor, the plowing from dawn to dusk, the resilience of the soil itself. He finished, panting but unbroken. The second test was combat, sword against sword. His opponent sneered at the farmer boy, but Elias had learned to fight the hardest battles against himself, against laziness, against despair, against doubt. When his wooden blade clashed with theirs, it carried years of silent preparation. He won not by power, but by patience and precision. The third test was discipline, standing motionless, armored, for hours beneath the burning sun. Many fainted. Some gave up. Elias, however, had grown under harsher suns, with nothing but willpower to keep him standing in the fields. He stood tall, unshaken, his mind repeating, "I am more than a farmer." The final challenge was not physical but moral. The recruits were ordered to guard a locked gate overnight, forbidden to leave their post. It was a test of obedience. In the middle of the night, Elias heard a child's cry. He turned to see a young boy from the nearby village trapped beneath a collapsed cart. His heart raced. If he left his post, he could be disqualified. But if he stayed, the child could die. Elias made his choice. He broke orders, rushed to the child, and used every ounce of his strength to lift the cart. Exhausted but relieved, he carried the boy to safety. Then, with sweat dripping down his brow, he returned to his position before dawn. The commanders had seen everything. At sunrise, the captain of the guard approached him. "You disobeyed orders," the captain said sternly. Elias lowered his head, ready for rejection. But then the captain's voice softened. "And yet, you showed courage, sacrifice, and the heart to protect the innocent. That is the true duty of a royal guard." Weeks later, Elias stood in the palace courtyard, no longer in worn farm clothes but in shining armor. The insignia of the royal guard rested on his chest. His father wept with pride as the king himself commended Elias for his loyalty and resilience. The boy who once worked the soil now walked among the highest protectors of the realm. He was proof that greatness does not come from where you start, but from how hard you fight, how deeply you sacrifice, and how faithfully you stay true to your values. Elias's story carries lessons for us all. Loyalty: stand by your principles and your people, even when it costs you. Sacrifice: success demands giving up comfort for something greater. Discipline: the habits you build in silence shape the victories you win in public. Resilience: life will knock you down, but resilience means rising every single time. Courage: true bravery is not the absence of fear, it is acting rightly in spite of it. Self-growth. Education, discipline, and the willingness to learn can transform anyone's destiny. Leadership: leadership is not about power, it is about protecting and serving others. Elias's journey reminds us that the uniform you wear, the position you hold, or the wealth you carry does not define you. What defines you is your mindset, your habits, your courage to act when it matters most. So, wherever you are, whether in a field, an office, or a classroom, remember this: your present does not limit your future. Like Elias, you can rise, if you work harder, dream bigger, and never give up. Fire. If this story inspired you, don't let it end here. Take action in your own life. Build the habits, strengthen your mind, and chase your purpose. Backhand index pointing right. Like this video, comment your biggest takeaway, and subscribe for more stories that awaken courage, discipline, and hope.